Okay, I should be recording. What I'm going to do now is load some bullets, 223. Now this is all set up right now, okay, and I got another camera over here. Whether or not this is picking this up well, I don't know. We'll see. Um, Maybe it's not even working. Maybe the battery died. I don't know. We'll see. No, I think it might be working. Okay, so this is how this is all set up, all right? This is a rock chucker press, single stage. I got right now a shell holder for the 223. Everything is specific. This is a die, a full length resizing die, and you will learn how to put that in by using the instructions that come in the box, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a shell. This is military surplus. I'm going to take a little bit of this RCBS stuff. It's a case lube, and just put a little bit on my fingers. Just a little bit, not much. And just kind of wipe it on there. Barely even getting it on. Too much, it'll kink it. Then push it through till it bottoms out. Pick it up. Okay, it's full length resize. Put that on the side. Just using the same amount on my fingers. Not even hardly anything. Full length resize. All the way down. Same thing. I'm barely even putting anything on here. Okay. If it seems like it's a little tight to push down, then you add a little bit more to your fingers. Just a dab. I'm talking a dab, like a little drop. Okay, wipe it on there. All the way through. And obviously you're going to want to do as many of these as you want. You know, you want to do 50 at a time, 100 at a time. That's kind of your call. Now, they're all full length resized. Okay, and I have a whole container, okay, of full length resize. They're in this box here. Okay, so you can see these are all full length resized, all right, and they're also been trimmed, which is I'm going to show you next. Okay, now I put these gloves on because this can get sharp, and this can cut your fingers pretty good. This brass. Okay, well, actually, let me trim it to length first. This is, I have to plug this in because the machine itself, the switch went on me. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just plug that in, and now it's running. What you'll see here is this little tip here is made to go in this. And I have a whole box of them for different calibers. I got a different cutter, all that. But right now it's set up for 223. This right here sets the depth of how far in that can go. You have a coarse one and you got a fine one, and you use Allen keys to set that. So you got to mic everything to where it's supposed to be. Okay, so this is the gauge. Right now for 223, that drops in, and you can see it's flush, right even with this bottom, but it's also sticking out the top just a little bit, not much, but enough. Okay, so you turn this, you put this in there, and you tighten this down so it's tight. You push it in the hole right there, and you can see it's cutting the brass. Okay, when it stops cutting, pull it out, unhook it, put it on the side. You're going to do this to every single piece. This is the most tedious part of this, is brass preparation. If you don't do this, they're not going to be all the same, and they won't fit anybody's gun. That's the key to this. It has to fit every single gun, or else it's no good. The theory is if it shoots from your gun, then it'll fit in your gun, in your chamber. But I make bullets for all guns, so it doesn't matter the specs of the chamber, because it's going to work in all of them. So once again, you could go as fast as you want with, go as fast as you want, but technically it's a tedious chore, and that's just the way it is. Okay, so now I have those 5 done. Pull out the plug. Now, like I said, I have to put these gloves on. Okay? Important to have this done. Now, this is the thing that I just got for, I guess it was Christmas last year or something. Different way. Now, this is sharp. This brass is sharp, and this is why I'm saying you have to make sure that you have this done right. So I'm going to take the sharpness off of here first. I'm going to go like this on this one. That does the inside. That does the outside. Inside, outside. Just long enough that it takes that sharpness. Okay, now if I put it in the gauge, not only is it smooth right there, but it should be about even with this edge here. Okay, and that's all I need. Now, this probably has a military crimp. So what you're going to have to do are, these are the 3 things for military crimps and pocket cleaning. So this one here, this is the one that's probably going to cut your fingers. So you got to hold it tight. See, it's trimming that out. And this is where you're gonna have a problem with your fingers if you're not careful. It's gonna cut what it needs to cut. Okay, so what I've done there, and I probably can't tell, is I chamfer that around. This one here will clean the bottom of the pocket, and this is just a uniformer. I've done all 3 stages now. You can see that's nice and clean in there. Put it in the box. Okay? So, inside, outside, inside, outside, military crimp. See, this one's to grab it, to get that brass started. It's sharp, and that's where your fingers are going to grab. And I don't care how you do it, but I've cut my fingers on this sharp edge, and it's nothing you can do about it, really. Now, once all these, of course, this is all military surplus stuff. Once you have all your pockets done and your crimps are gone, you never got to do this again. You just have to do the outside. Every time you shoot a bullet, the case will stretch, the length. So you do have to size it, trim it, and at least do, the inside and the outside to make sure that it's proper. There you go. So that's a clean chamber. Back in. Okay, so that's been trimmed. See how it just wants to go around? You got to hold it with your finger. That makes it a little tough. There's other methods of doing these primer pockets and all kinds of other stuff on the internet, obviously. Different tools you can buy, different setups with drills. You can use a drill bit and all kinds of stuff to do this. But this station is nice because it's all right here. You used to have to do this stuff by hand, because I'll show you in a second. Because I have one of these in here, and that basically is that tool on that side and this tool on that side. And I used to do that all by hand, and you still could do this by hand if you want to, but it's easier, much easier to use a station like this. I'm trying to go fast because I really don't know how long the battery's going to last. I don't know if there's any set order as far as this goes, but mean, like which one you do first. I just kind of know that if you have the military crimp, you got to get that out of there, or else the other ones may not even fit. Now my hands, of course, are hammered after years of being dental lab work. I have carpal tunnel surgery on both hands, so sometimes it's hard for me to grip. I got a whole bunch now of these guys, okay? And these all are the same. They all should fit in the gauge, okay? So it's got it. Oop, how come that one don't go in? What's up with that? Something's wrong there. See, there you go. There's a classic case. Didn't go in. Something's wrong. Okay. The rest of these, though, I believe are all done. So they all bottom out, and they all go flat right here in this center groove, and they all should be at least even with this. As far as I can tell, they are. Okay. My eyesight sucks, but I don't know how that one got through the mix here. Let's full length resize this and see. I didn't lube it, but I'm gonna stick it in there anyway and see. Maybe somehow got through the mix. I don't know. Let's see. Now, still not going down. Something wrong with this. Gotta toss it. Doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know what's going on with it. Oh! This is a 556 by 45. Somebody threw in something else. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what this is. I don't understand why that won't go in. I full length resized it. Unless there's something wrong with the bottom of this. It's nicked a little bit. Maybe that's why. I think it's nicked. And not to take a chance, just tossing it. Not even going to worry about it, okay? So hopefully the rest of them will be okay. Now that I got these guys, next thing is to do the powder. So you could, if you wanted to, run them through a tumbler. Okay, not necessary. Okay. The recipe for these bullets is I'm using, I don't know if you could see on this box, but you'll get a chance. I write all of it down. 223 55 grain full metal jacket. I'm using CFE 223, and the grains are 25.3 to 25.6. It's not perfect, but it's not going to blow up your gun. Okay? So, got a digital powder skid. Okay? I made sure that it's zeroed out with the pan on here. 0. Okay? Now, this powder, okay, the 223 stuff is very fine. It's like sand. You set it by using these gauges right here. Okay, hopefully you can see that. You turn it, tighten it up. That's part of the learning process, and you're gonna have to figure out how to set that yourself. So I just run it a couple times to play it safe. Then bottom it out, let it pour in there, put it on the scale. Now remember, the number was 25.6. I got 25.5. Is that dangerous? No, that's fine. Okay, take your, because I can, okay, I'm going to take this and just go ahead and pour it, put it on there, the funnel, and pour that right in there. Make sure that it all goes down. Okay, now that one, oh, you know what I forgot? Son of a bitch. I forgot the primers. See, going too fast. Going too fast, guys. That's okay. I will slow down and go fast. Okay, so I got the primers, right? Next thing we're going to do is we need primers in all these cases, okay? So up there I have small rifle, okay? Take a box of these guys, and I'm only going to dump, I have 10 in a row here. I'm going to dump these 10. You shake it, make sure that one of them gets in there. And they go in there. Now you can put as many in this container as you want that'll fit. I don't go crazy. I like to do 20 at a time or whatever. Okay. Simple. The shell holders for each caliber is here, and it'll tell you which one to stick in this slot. It comes with small and large. You use it for pistol and you use it for rifle. Slide that in. Squeeze this till it bottoms out. Boom, there's your primer. Okay. Goes just as fast as that. Just put them in. Squeeze it. Primers are in. Now, if you didn't do the military crimp, you'd never get it in. Just won't happen. Okay? I'm going to do all 10. Some sound like they're a little tighter than others and stuff, but as long as you can get it, as long as it goes with just squeezing your finger like that, you're good. Okay? Make sure that it's in there. There you go, primer. Okay. Another one to go. That's it, I'm done. Okay? Put that on the side. Now I can go ahead and put the powder in. Okay? So, let's go back to square one. So I drop it a load. Make sure that it's touching 25.5. Pretty accurate. Get that on there. Now the powder's in there. Okay? Now, this thing is pretty accurate. So really all I have to do is put my round underneath here, and I have two different sizes for small and large. Boom. Boom. Once everything is set up, it works. Okay? I mean, it's nice. You got to double check everything before you get rolling, because you don't want to jack it up. Now, I have 5 more to go, so then I'll go ahead and I'll try one, just to make sure that nothing's changed dramatically. 25.4, that's within my reasonable amounts, and I will go ahead and put the powder. Let me do that again, because I think I just spilled some crap. Okay. Okay. I hate going fast, but I want to make sure I get this video done before all the batteries die, because I don't know if they're fully charged. Okay, so now we got all the powder. Okay. Now, to double check, I will look inside each one to make sure that it's powder's in there at the same line. I know it's good. Okay? Now, the next stage is to actually put the tips on. Okay? So, I have a bullet seeding die in here. Okay? I take one. Now, first thing I do is I don't have extra shell holders, so I'm going to come back here, drop this, get this out of here. Okay, put this shell holder in there. Each caliber has a specific shell holder. Now, put this in. Take a tip, put it right over top, and start going up. Now, you're going to feel resistance right there. Now, bullet is actually entering the case, okay? Now, the important thing you have to remember is I have this also mic'd and overall cartridge length, okay? That means from here to here is a specific amount on the dial, okay? And I'm also going by these cannelures, whatever the hell these grooves are, and these bullets, and they all have them. I want my brass to be right in that, okay? That's going to help me grab that bullet, okay? So right now, I'm not completely in there. You can see that it's close to being in there, but not all the way, okay? It's bottomed out. Okay, do I have it all the way? No, probably needs a little bit more. So then I turn that down till I get it to where I need it to be. Maybe just twist this a little bit more. I would say that's pretty close. A hair more maybe. Okay, now it's about in the middle of that, and I'm okay. All right, so it's about right. Okay, so now that one's good. Well, I'm not done yet. So now, because I have to put a factory crimp on it. Okay, put another bullet there. Draw it up. I'm okay. Doesn't have to be crazy perfect, okay? But it has to fit in your gun, and it has to. And I'm using these grooves, okay? Obviously, you'd put them like I would put them all in here or whatever until I could do the next part, which is coming up. I'll make sure my battery doesn't die on me. Going faster. Okay. Normally you'd have a whole tray of these guys filled up. That holds 50 rounds. And they're staggered because each one of these holes holds a different caliber, okay? Because this one fits more snugly than this one. It's looser, okay? Slide it in there, put your tip on top enough to hold it in place, drop your round. Right now this is set up for 223. I can do different calibers, whatever, but we're doing 223, so it's set up for that, and I don't want to change anything. Luckily, I have a couple presses that I could use strictly for this crap. I have the Rock Chucker, the bigger one, and this is called a partner press. Now that I have those guys, okay, I could take this out, and I'm careful so that I don't move it too much. Because this way when I screw it back in, it'll be pretty darn close. I don't have to be fiddling around with it. And that really is, all this is in the instructions on how you do this stuff. Now this is a factory crimp. I don't know if you can see that, alright? But, let me see. Can you see this? Inside that hole there, okay, is pinchers. So you screw this in this way. Now this big locking screw should be pretty close, as long as it wasn't touched too much. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the tip of this brass into those grooves to give it a uniform. Now, the whole idea of trimming them to the same length is that this should work. So I'm going to go like this, and you can feel little cam actions, the little cam action right down there, okay? Boom. Boom, okay? What that's doing is it's squeezing the very tip of this, okay? And if you want a little bit tighter of a crimp, you just go down a little bit more, and boom, okay? That should squeeze that the very edge of that brass into that. Now that can be brought in there into the box. Now that you have all your tips, you're going to run them all through. Boom, you can feel that, okay? You don't have to go nuts setting it all up, because boom, it's in there. So each one of these things is now crimped into that canister enough that you can shoot through a semi-automatic rifle like an AR, and that'll give you uniform pressure on each round. You could feel that, you could hear that camming action going over. So I'm going and I'm camming, and it's giving that a little bit of that pinch to hold that bullet in those grooves. Now obviously you can see where you're going to want to set this up, where you do all your brass, all your, you could trim all your brass. You're going to size your brass, you're going to trim your brass, you're going to get your brass cut properly, and all of the military crimps out. You're going to put your primers in, which I was going so fast I forgot about it, but you're going to put your primers in. You're going to charge your cases, okay? Then you're going to come over here and put all your tips in with the bullet seating die. Then once you have them all in a container and they're all tipped up, then you're going to go ahead and factory crimp them. All right? So, simple enough. Okay, we'll go over it one more time. This is the brass thing, and you can see I got cases in there. Okay, so let's suppose, just for example, you come from the range. All right, you go ahead and you turn this guy on. It's going to get loud. You can see him sucking in there. Okay, it's going to tumble them all up, and it's going to make them shiny, so that when they're done, you leave them on for hours. You leave this on for hours. It's not going to hurt anything. Then you come back, and they'll all be ready to go, nice and shiny. Okay, get all that powder residue off. Then you're going to go ahead and lube them up, just a dab, and you just want to just get it so it's a little thing. Put them in, prime them, boom. Okay, get a whole box of them primed. All right, so they're all gone through the full set, full length resizer, so they're all resized. Then you're going to set up this thing. Right now it is for the proper length. You're going to remember there's different tips in case you use different rounds. Like if you want, this is for 30 caliber, you're going to put that in. There's a set screw right here. You're going to slide that in. Okay. You're going to set the overall cartridge length. Now when you have a book, let's go to the 223. Now this book has all kinds of calibers, okay, and it's an old book, but it still works, okay, it still tells you stuff, okay. Let's go to the 223, let's see, here it is, 223 Remington, 5.56 NATO, okay. Now, it'll give you some history of it, it'll tell you a little bit about it. Now here's the important things, from the end here to the base to that, you have to be 1.760 on your mic, okay? That you can't, okay, be any longer than that. You could be a little shorter, okay? But you have to make sure that this fits a gun's chamber, okay? So it tells you that, okay? It'll also tell you down here about the, a lot of times it'll tell you about how long it should be. But we're using bullets that have those grooves in it. So it's a simple thing. You don't have to worry about that. So on this page, you're going to see here is the 55 grain. There is the bullet we're using right there with the can, or whatever the hell that is, Canature, Caneler, or whatever. Okay, so tells you the kind of powders to use and the amount of powder in the case and how fast out of the muzzle. Okay, here's H335. That's a really good one. Okay, different brands, different stuff. This stuff that we're using right here is specifically made for Full Metal Jacket approved 223. Okay, and it also works for 308 Winchester, which, you know, I have 308 Winchester as well. But this is made for that stuff. You could keep buying it, or you could buy different powders. You could do your own research, whatever. Okay. Then once you have it all trimmed up, you're gonna go ahead and get your clean your brass up. Okay. Then you're gonna come over. You're gonna pick the right one of these guys. And they come in all kinds of different calibers. They look like a shell holder, but they're not. They're only a half of a shell holder, because the real shell holder looks like this. It has a bottom groove in it that goes in this bottom groove. Okay, so it's a different setup, but this then will go, and this is how this comes apart. You cantilever that. This slides down. Okay, I got two different sizes, small and large. You want to use pistol rounds or whatever, or a larger rifle. And then these things slide in and out here. So that goes in, and you pick the right one. This goes in here like that. This goes in like this. And there you go. And then that thing goes up and down. The plunger goes up and down with your primers in there. Okay? This has a whole list on the back of what one of these things you put in here. If you don't have it, you could always buy the right shell holder online, Amazon or whatever. Okay, so you get your primers put in, you do your powder, you measure it out, make sure you're pretty darn accurate. Don't mess around with that, because that's where you'll blow up. I got a different one of these guys that can be screwed in here. This is a bigger opening for bigger rounds. All right, and that way, but right now, like I said, everything's set up for 223. All right, I'm just showing in case you decide to change the